Outlet Liquor is your place to buy a case. Stock up and save when you shop the lowest prices available every day at Outlet Liquor. You never have to wait for a sale. The more you buy, the more you save. Only at Outlet Liquor.
What's your outlet?
Welcome, everybody, to the season finale of I'll Hang Up and Listen. It's only fitting that they would lose 1-0 to end the season, right? I mean, it's only fitting that we wouldn't score a goal in the last game of the season. It just makes sense. Am I right? Like, with the way this season has gone, to start off with, going into that COVID scare that the Sabres had, you had this team starting off with a .500 record. Coming out of that, there was some optimism, and then thus began the 18-game losing streak. I don't care. You guys can call it a winless streak. No, it was an 18-game losing streak. That was one of the most gut-wrenching things as a Sabres fan I think I've ever had to go through. And I never, ever, ever for the life of me want to ever have to go through that again. Because that was just, as a Sabres fan, as a Buffalo sports fan, that was just unbearable. I still can't believe we went through that. Obviously, things got a lot better. Once I think the streak ended at 12 games in a row. Donnie Meatballs comes in. Don Granato gets the interim tag, brought in to be the interim head coach of this team. And things, even though they lost 6 games, but even in those 6 losses, we saw a different Sabres team. We saw more fight. We saw more bite. When this team would get down 1 or 2-0, even halfway into the second period, I remember under Kruger, I would just say, "Oh, this team's toast. They're not coming back in this. I don't care if it's 1-0 or 5-0. They're not coming back." Under Granato, it's just been a different hockey team, and you have to remember that Granato hasn't had Eichel. He hasn't had McCabe. He didn't have Olmark for the majority of it. Like, those are 3 huge pieces of your team: your starting goaltender, your franchise center, and probably your best stay-at-home defenseman. And you didn't have any of them. And I have to say, it was, it was definitely under Granato, fun to watch hockey again. I think anybody would agree with that. It was, absolutely fun to watch hockey again. With Granato, it was, they were more prepared to come and play every single game. Obviously, they had better practice habits. I can't stress it enough. I think Don Granato is easily at the top of the list as far as who the next head coach of the Buffalo Sabres is. I think it's his job to lose, but especially with today's news of Rod Brind'Amour getting a big extension with the Carolina Hurricanes, he's locked up there for the next few years. I think he was the only guy I would have considered to be the head coach of this team over Don Granato. I know we have our Claude Julians, we have our Bruce Boudreau's out there, and Gallant is out there too still. But with that being said, it's Don Granato made a strong case for himself that he is more than qualified to be a head coach in the National Hockey League. It's hard to disagree that he hasn't at least earned the opportunity to be at the top of that list. But, we'll get to that. So, obviously, you lose 1-0 today. Michael Hauser, another start in that. Very strong performance from him. You can't do anything when your team doesn't score, and he only gave up 1 goal. He did the very best he could do to win a hockey game without getting a shutout. Unfortunately, it sucks that things went the way they did. You would have liked to have seen him get a W in his last game of the season, to go 3-2 rather than a .500 record for Hauser, 2-2 Brick Hauser. But, again, what can you do? Things to be optimistic about for this team going forward. Obviously, you have to remember, like, as I stated before, you didn't have your franchise center for a good chunk of the season. The guy was playing hurt from the get, had fractured ribs. Then he had the bum ankle, and now this cervical issue, this hernia thing. Jack Eichel has had a difficult year. Make no bones about it. but I think it would be crazy to even continue to speculate that he's on the trade block, that, the Sabres are actively trying to trade Jack Eichel, because I say that because with the way this team has played without him, especially up the middle, the most important position on your team, in my opinion, you need center ice depth. It's something this team has lacked since we lost Briere and Drury in the same offseason. Now, if you re-sign Sam, and you you keep him at center, you now have Jack Eichel as your number one center, Sam Reinhart as your second line center, and then Dylan Cousins as your third line center. Or you could flip-flop those two. You have ask Sam to be your shutdown center role, a guy who can play against the other team's top lines, which, again, is, I'm fine with that. Completely fine with that. So with that being said, it's something to look forward to and be optimistic about. Things not to be optimistic about: the current goaltending situation with this team. It's a scary thing. It is an absolutely terrifying, scary thing. I hope that, we can get that resolved. I hope that, we can bring back Linus Ullmark on a very team-friendly deal. I'm not willing to back up any Brinks truck or any truck, for instance, to overpay Linus Ullmark just because he has the injury issues. It's been difficult with him for a while now, getting him to play a full season and stay healthy. I can't stress it enough. You never want to overpay your goaltenders. You look at what's going on in Montreal, paying Carey Price $10 million a season, and it really handcuffs the rest of the team. And then obviously you paid, Bobrovsky down in Florida $10 million a season. He's not even the starter. Drieger and now Spencer Knight, they've kind of taken the reins there. It's difficult, man. It's difficult. So that is something that they need to address in the offseason. It should be priority number one for them to address. I hope that, again, I mentioned Drieger earlier, Florida goaltender. I'd like to see what type of price it would cost to bring him in here. Because I think he's a guy, at least for sure, he deserves a look. Has earned that. Look at what Jack Campbell did in Toronto. I hate, glorifying the Toronto Maple Leafs, but he was 16-2-2 last time I looked, which is insane. Jack Campbell, the guy's definitely earned himself a new contract, a huge raise in pay, but you just don't want to pay your goaltenders that much money. Sorry. For me, I max out around $6 to $6.5 million, per year on any goaltender. You can't justify paying a goaltender that kind of money for me. No, thank you. No. Other reasons to be optimistic: the play of Casey Middlestat this season. Big surprise, especially after Granato took over. You have to admit, under Granato, Casey Middlestat looks like a top 6 hockey player. And that's where I see Don Granato making his strongest case to be the next head coach of this hockey team, is the play of Casey Middlestat, the play of Tage Thompson, how much that improved, the play of the reemergence of Rasmus Dahlin under him. It's, night and day, compared to what it was before. We were hoping that, Casey Middlestat could find a way to stay in the bottom 6, let alone the top 6. We were talking about him being a career AHL hockey player, a guy who wasn't committed, wasn't motivated, wasn't willing to put the work in off the ice to be on a full-time NHL hockey player. We were wrong. And, I'm a Casey Middlestat apologist. The guy, night and day compared to what we've seen the last 2 seasons. Dylan Cousins, the leadership he's shown. I mean, I don't want Dylan Cousins being the guy to go around throwing fists and fighting and, being the guy to, cash in receipts or however you want to word it. But you can't deny that Dylan Cousins, the workhorse from Whitehorse, has not showed an innate ability to lead and to produce. He is everything as advertised and is worth the 8th overall pick it took to draft him. Another thing too, we have, you see Yoki Harju really start to turn the season around under Granato. Ristolainen just completely fell off the rails after McCabe got hurt. That was very, very depressing. I can't stress that enough. How we got to find a way with the expansion draft looming. Maybe find a way that we could maybe get him off the books. Just do whatever we have to do to get Rasmus Ristolainen off this hockey team. I may be more optimistic than most others in terms of the direction of this hockey team. I know people like to say that this team is far away from playoffs. I really don't think so. I've been saying it for a while. We're getting into the expansion draft is here. We have an opportunity to possibly unload some bad contracts, which is huge. I mean, how can you not look forward to that? The opportunity to maybe unload that Cody Eakin contract, maybe unload. It's very. I'm dreaming big here, but a Casey or not Casey. A Kyle Okposo contract, a guy who's been getting paid $6 million for quite some time now, and really just hasn't produced at all. It's infuriating. It absolutely is. It's extremely, extremely infuriating. With that being said, I would like your thoughts, man. I just, unfortunately, this season just didn't go the way we planned, what we hoped. When we signed Taylor Hall, we had an owner that said, "Oh, if we signing this guy, we sign this guy. We're not just trying to make the playoffs, we're trying to win the Stanley Cup." Dreaming big there, Terry, don't you think? But you brought in Taylor Hall. Kevin Adams tried. He swung for the fences, got Taylor Hall to agree to come here, and it turns out that unfortunately, it wasn't. His intentions were he wanted to be a Boston Bruin from the jump. Signed with Buffalo when he realized when it was, I guess made known to him that, it would take Boston longer to move around the pieces to make room for him underneath the cap. So he took the $8 million paycheck that, Terry and Kim Pagula were offering him with Kevin Adams, and he checked out. I mean, maybe, he realized that the opportunity to maybe get a huge payday by playing with Jack Eichel wasn't there. Jack was hurt most of the season. Then he got taken off the line with Jack Eichel, and the guy checked out. I mean, look what he's doing in Boston right now. That looks like a guy who wants to play hockey. He did not look like that player for, I'd say 90% of his time with the Buffalo Sabres. Unfortunately, he just wasn't it doesn't look like he was here to compete. It looked like he was here just to strictly complete, to collect the paycheck. Which sucks, because what could have been had we gotten that from Taylor Hall, that the seasons we've seen from him before. The guy just, he was checked out, unfortunately. So I will not wish him all the best in Boston. Absolutely not. It's unfortunate. Yeah, the Buffalo Sabres, these were not very cash money. Definitely not very cash money, unfortunately. Sucks. But again, there are reasons to be optimistic. We have a lot. We saw a lot of hope coming from some of these young, talented hockey players, guys like Will Borgen. We saw a lot from Matthias Samuelsson in this short amount of time we've seen him play. You have obviously Jacob Bryson, who will probably be in Rochester again next season. But he showed some promise. He showed an innate ability to rush the puck and create offense. I was pleased with some of the good things I saw from him. Yes, I will keep my head up, Johnny. It's difficult. It's difficult for me to. It's easy for me to always be doom and gloom, but I don't want to always be doom and gloom. I'm always this type of Sabres fan that's going to try and find, the optimism, the bright side of things, the light at the end of the tunnel. I will do my best to find those things, and that's what I'm doing here. I'm doing my very best to, find the good in a bad situation. Obviously, we celebrated RJ's 50th season. They finally decided to do something about it. Celebrate Rick Janneret's 50th season as play-by-play commentator for the Buffalo Sabres. Maybe they saw our tweets from yesterday. Maybe it's like, oh man, we got to do something here special. I don't think that was. I think they did have this planned most of the time, but it would have been nice to see more done throughout the season. It was an opportunity to really highlight a positive thing in a season full of negatives, and it was just depressing from start to finish. Not depressing start to finish. In the tenure of Ralph Kruger, it was nothing but misery, absolute misery. But it was nice to you really commemorate 50 years of RJ with that video they did today and playing some of his his best clips. And I am very pleased with that. I hope that we do get something live next season with fans in the house, because I think RJ deserves that. I think RJ deserves to have us, show him our thanks, show him that we, support, support, and are thankful and grateful for the 50 years he's given us through all of the good times and the bad. So, I hope they do something next season, maybe at the home opener, maybe during a Sabres Toronto home game. That would be nice. If it's against any team, I would like it to be against Toronto, because those gave us some of the best goal calls that Rick's ever given us during those old Buffalo Toronto Maple Leaf rivalry games and even playoff series. So that's my hope. Other positive things, obviously, UPL, Ukko-Pekka Luukkonen. He showed that he belongs in the NHL. There's still some left there to be desired. I hope that we could. I really do hope that he isn't on this roster next season. I still want him to play a full season in Rochester in obviously a different setting. Have him be playing for something. They weren't playing for playoffs this year. They're playing just to play. I really would like him to get a full season in Rochester and compete for a Calder Cup. And have Kevin Adams, either bring back Linus Ullmark or find us 2 goaltenders that can help this team win next season. But that's just another positive that we had from this season, for sure. Yes, RJ is an absolute legend. I hope he sticks around for the season. I think he's got a few extra seasons left in him. I really do. It's just unfortunate. Again, it was a missed opportunity throughout the year that maybe we could have highlighted something positive rather than to deal with all the negative all the time with what was this season. We got Royal Blue back this year. Obviously, I'm wearing my Royal Blue jersey. Got it for Christmas. Thanks, Dad. Thanks to my stepmom, Holly. Appreciate it. But the reverse retro jerseys were dope. Didn't get myself one of those, but they were a nice jersey. Hopefully, maybe we get a goat head jersey back here next season. I don't know. We'll see. Maybe that was a sign of more good things to come. Maybe Kim can get her head out of her ass and continues to do some more positive things. But listen, guys, I don't want to take up too much of your Saturday. I'm sure everybody's out there having a good time, having a blast. We're going to have a lot more we'll have the draft lottery coming up soon. We'll see where the Sabres will pick. Hopefully at number 1, who's it going to be? Is it going to be Beniers, Power? There's both the kids from Michigan. There's some other names out there that we're going to highlight on Two Goalies, One Mike here coming soon. Obviously, we have the expansion draft coming up with Seattle. That should be interesting. There'll be a lot of trades, a lot of action between GMs. Should be a lot of fun to watch, and hopefully the Sabres are involved, wheeling and dealing. Hopefully Kevin Adams is wheeling and dealing, and maybe we get more clarification in this a post regular season press conference here and find out what their game plan is for head coach, if they decide to retain Don Granato as take the interim tag off, or if they continue to decide they want to keep interviewing people. I don't know. I think Donnie Meatballs has earned his opportunity to be the head coach of the Buffalo Sabres, and we all know the Pagulas like the cheap hires. Donnie Meatballs, Don Granato would absolutely be a cheap hire for them. And again, I think he's got the fans on his side. I think the fans are absolutely on Don Granato's side. I think they bought into what he's selling. Me being one of them, I haven't disliked anything he's done, and he's done with a very lackluster roster. So hopefully this free agency period, they make some very low cost, low term signings, like I said it 100 times, much like the Florida Panthers have done this last offseason during free agency. Try and blueprint that. Hopefully we have a good draft. maybe after Jack Quinn gets back out, recovering from this injury that he just had surgery from, hopefully, we get some clarification on where he is in his development. Maybe he pushes to make this roster next season. There's a lot to be optimistic about, but I'm going to let you guys go on, enjoy the rest of your Saturday. I'll hang up and listen. I appreciate you all this entire season, coming on this ride for me and these post-game reactions. I've got obviously out of hand for a lot of them, did a lot of yelling, did a lot of screaming, threw a lot of stuff around, some of it comical, some of it kind of pathetic, but I wouldn't have it any other way. I love you guys. I hope that you'll be here, with me next season. Again, we're going to have a lot of content coming at you at Two Goalies, One Mic. And hopefully, we'll have some more future Sabres prospects lined up. I know we have Eric Portillo, who I believe is the future of the Buffalo Sabres in that right now at the University of Michigan under the tutelage of former Sabres goaltender Steve Shields. And we'll see. I have a lot of other possible interviews lined up. Just stay tuned. And, we'll have a good summer here. Enjoy this weather and get ready for next season. October will be here sooner rather than later. It's right around the corner, kind of, sort of, for me at least. I hope it goes by quick. And again, guys, I'll hang up and listen. Sorry to drag this out. I enjoy talking to you guys. So enjoy your weekend. And let's go Sabres.